Ooh-wee, it smells like paint in here. I've got the PVA primer up, and because this room wasn't that big, I went ahead and put 2 coats of sealer on there. You know, the dark areas in between the joints and stuff, you know, that you saw on there. I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that the finished paint's going to cover that. In all retrospect, had I have thought of it, I would have got something like Kills stain blocker or some sort of stain blocker primer and put that up instead of just a regular PVA primer. But I'm pretty sure all this is going to cover. Now with PVA sealer, you will see things coming out of the ceiling kind of like this. Even though you think it's not covering, it actually is. So I'm pretty good. I feel pretty confident about it. And I put 2 coats on, you know, to give it just a little bit more up there. All right, I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to go to lunch, let it dry a little bit, and come back and put the finished paint on. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just getting ready to get into the finished paint, and I wanted to show you this. You see how long this weenie roller extension piece is? See, this is the one that I used before. And this is going to give me another foot so that I can probably reach everything without getting up on my ladder when I start using this mini roller. That's going to be kind of slick. Now granted, I was able to reach the very top with this, but I had to stay on my tippy toes, and I really don't want to do that. So, you know, this morning I saw this, and I've been carrying this around forever, and I very seldom use it. But even if you're doing 8-foot ceilings or something, or 10-foot ceilings, you can stay right on the ground and just use this without an extension pole, let's say. You know, I saw this morning, I thought, I'm never going to use that, ever, probably. I might as well just throw it away or something, or give it away. And son of a gun, I started thinking about it, and I'm going to try that because I don't really like getting back and forth on the ladder, because when I do the finished paint, what you want to do when you're doing the finished paint, you want to go from start to finish on one little section of the wall, from the top of the ceiling all the way down. You don't want to do little bits. On the primer, I went and I did a little bit at a time, and I ran the roller this way, and then I ran the roller this way, because I really didn't care about it. But once you start the finished paint, you want the roller to go all in the same direction, and it's best to go from the top down, especially on these cathedral ceilings. I don't want to go halfway down and do all the high stuff first and then come from the bottom up. Then it's hard to blend in and on how thick your paint is and all that. But I'm doing flat paint, so I should be fine one way or another. But before I do the mini roller, yes, I'm going to use this again to do all my cutting with just a crummy little throwaway paintbrush, because I've got to cut in the walls after. Okay? Keep her going. I think I showed you all the primer before it dried. Now it's all dry. You want to make sure your primer gets all the way dry before you start doing your finished paint. Okay? Wow, that's starting to look nice. Let's get that finished paint up there. Let's just briefly talk about this ceiling paint. I'm using a flat paint, and this one is bright white. That's what they wanted, ultra pure white. And I even had them put a little bit of extra tinting in, which they think is going to make it a little bit fuller and with the body color and all that. So that's why I chose that. Now this paint, it was like 16 bucks a gallon. This is like a 2-gallon container. When you buy paint in 2-gallon containers, usually you can buy two 2 gallons of paint cheaper than 2 single paint gallons. So if you know for sure you're going to use more than 2 gallons, or at least 1.5 gallons, 1.5 gallons, 3/4, whatever, look and see if you can get a 2 gallon container like that. You might save yourself some money. I might as well share with you one more tip. I had the video camera out and I'm like, man, I want to get going on this job, and I thought of one more thing to tell you. Oh, when you get paint at the store, even if you get it off the shelf and you think, okay, I don't need it pre-mixed with a special color, I'm just going to use what they have. Sometimes you can do that and get away with it. Primer or finished sealing paint like this here, they didn't really have to put any more pigment in it. I could have just bought that and away I went. But here's the tip I wanted to tell you. Make sure before you get it at the hardware store, make sure you have them mix it. Put it in their mixer. You never know how long this has been sitting on the shelf, or you know, when you get home, you don't want to have to mix it and mix it and mix it. You know, they'll put it in a shaker for you for nothing, and they'll shake it up for a few minutes to get all the stuff inside all mixed up properly. That way when you get home, they're still going to give you a paint stir stick. You can stir it for, you know, just a few seconds and see how everything is working on it, and chances are that's all you'll have to do. Okay, there's a tip for you. An interesting dilemma here. Most of this paint looks good, huh? This is the finished paint, but see over here? I don't know if you can see that on the light right there or not, but that sheetrock is, you know, the yellowish areas are bleeding through. And that's not a good thing. With the finished paint, you're not supposed to have that happen. Here, let's see here. You're not supposed to have that happen. And I just want you to see me. I'm all sweaty. I've got 2 coats of primer on and 1 coat of finish. I was hoping to get done tonight. Look into my eyes. How pissed off am I? Hey, I don't know. You know, I should have been smart enough to know that the sheetrock paper might have been discolored underneath the popcorn ceiling. That's like 30 years old, 30, 40 years old, however old this condo is. I should have been smart enough to know I should have got a stain blocker primer, something like Kills. That's what I'm going back to the store and getting. I'm going to get the Kills. There's a low odor one, Kills 2 I think it is, and it's clean up with water. I've got just enough time to get to the store. I am drenched. I'm going to have to change my clothes. I want to get there because I'm thinking about putting that primer up tonight. Yes. Oh man. I don't want to go to the store in the morning because then I'll hit traffic and stuff, and I'm going to get it, and so I can get back here. I'll decide later if I have enough willpower and energy to put that primer on tonight. If not, I'll put it on first thing in the morning, and then another 2 coats of finish. Oh man. And you know, I would be more pissed off if I didn't have enough time to get this done. I still have other 2 rooms to do, and I'm glad I noticed this and caught this on this first room. You know, I can't just leave this and call it good, but you know, at least I'm making a video of it. My loss is your gain. So when you come up across something that it looks like maybe you should put a Kills primer up there, do it. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.